Happy New Year. It's 2016. I'm glad we all made it. This is the first edition of Journalist Hangout. This year, I'm Ayodele Ozubaku. It's going to be more exciting today. Our esteemed fans are hanging out with us. They have traveled from the distance to come here. Please put your hands together for our esteemed viewers and journalists, all the journalists that are hanging out with us for the first time in 2016. This special edition will last for 1 hour 30 minutes. Those of you at home will have 1 minute to contribute to the program. Don't worry, we'll take a lot of calls from home, and we'll also look back at major events that shaped 2015 and get your reactions to them. My colleagues are here with me. Please put your hands together for Babajide Kolade Otitoju.
Thank you so much.
Lekon Shote is also in the studio.
Thank you.
Boyega Akoshila is in the studio.
Thank you very much.
And I have my regular analyst, Tony Waje, is with the guest today. Tony and Mrs. Waje. Charles Ideo is also in the studio. Eni Olukotu is in the studio. And I have the man with the big issue, Oba Adeoye. A round of applause for wonderful colleague. Throughout 2015, we did it together. We started with E15, now Journalist Hangout. And Oba Adeoye is a very, very resourceful person on the political desk in TVC News, Nigeria. Well, going to business now. Now, many historical events happened in 2015. For the first time in Nigeria's political history, an opposition party unseated the ruling party. Also historic was the death of Prince Abubakar Audu, the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress in Kogi State. There were other big events in the year.
From the wake of 2015, the Nigerian political landscape was busy. The presidential election was the biggest talk of the town. APC, PDP, and other political parties jostled for the seat of Mr. President. This video shows you amazing moments that the journalists Hangout on TVC Nigeria will not forget in a hurry. Take a ride with us.
Ask them. I say, go and ask them. If they did not use nursery school for anybody, what did they use our money for? They build prison. They build prison for you, I build universities for you.
They send you to jail. They send your father to jail. They have come again. They will send you back to jail. Me, as a woman, I rejoice to carry food to my husband in jail. I rejoice.
My generation have failed. We couldn't take Nigeria to the moon.
The APC is determined to break this vicious circle.
But your lighting is poor, Mr. Chairman. This light is not here.
Can somebody move the light closer, please? Just read the original, because everybody who came here read from the original.
These figures are here, they are here, but I don't read handwriting, I read type material. No, let's get it clear.
No, but Prof, who wrote that?
I did, under special conditions.
We will not take it from you. Until something is done, we will not allow you to continue with the contract.
Can I now respond?
Why will the guy not respond to our protest? When it was APC was big and telling people, we protested the guy yesterday, he threw the protest at us.
Mr. Orukobe, you are a former minister of the Federal Republic.
We will not take it from you. Until something is done, we will not allow you to continue with the contract.
You are a statesman in your own right, so you should be careful about what you say or what allegations or accusations you make.
We cannot allow it. Nigeria will not allow this thing.
You should be careful about your public conduct.
Every protest must be taken seriously. We will not allow it.
I have started coalition I cannot be receiving petitions in this hall, on this platform.
I intend to keep my oath and serve as president to all Nigerians. I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
People were deprived of their rights. Well, we work with the leadership of the House and with the Speaker for as long as the party's programs are properly articulated and pursued on the floor of the House.
In view of the non-appearance of the defendant respondent, the tribunal orders the Inspector General of Police or the relevant security agencies involved to produce the defendant before this tribunal.
I've come here to subject myself. I believe that I'm here, strongly believe I'm here because I am the Senate President. I don't believe I'd be here if otherwise.
So you can take a bow. Former Chief Whip.
You had 2 first degrees. A BA in Political Science, 1977. A BA in Law, Cambridge. Then he came back. A master's degree in law, and then another master's degree in law. Is the first master's degree in law not sufficient enough to do all your works?
You can take as many as you want. What is your own? You can take as
Thank you very much.
All the 3 elections you had, nobody ever took you to the tribunal. How will you react if you are asked to just bow and go?
It's put together a remarkable team of experienced people, knowledgeable people, and people with proven track record.
As at yesterday, my principal was very happy, and I was with my principal up to late night yesterday before I retired back to my home. But it's unfortunate that today God called him home.
I'm on this line for over 2 hours now. Is that the new Nigeria we wanted?
The government profoundly apologizes to Nigerians for this prolonged hardship and misery. It is as a result of market speculators and resistance to change by some stakeholders. This budget represents a major step in delivering a new opportunity for Nigeria. It demonstrates our confident optimism that despite the challenging times, we have the will, resourcefulness, and the commitment. We will come out stronger and more united than ever.
Goodbye 2015 indeed. All right, that was 2015 in 6 minutes. Seeing that video, how did you feel about each of these issues mentioned there? Let's start with the pre-election period. Jide, for the first time since this democratic experiment, since 1999, we had an opposition party taking over from the incumbent, which has never happened in the history of democracy in Nigeria. Let's talk about pre-election, how we got to this stage.
I think, first and foremost, Nigerians wanted change, and they were prepared to give their best to ensure that change happened. And you must also give so much credit to the APC, the opposition party. I think they did their homework well. Beyond the support, the cross-country support that Nigerians had for the APC, or still have for the APC, there was a particular political masterstroke that the leaders of the APC contrived, which ensured that this that PDP was defeated, and it was the amendment of the constitution of the party to allow people who have just lately joined the party to be qualified to aspire for any position in the party. Now, what I'm saying is, if you join the APC today,
yes, that's at that point in time that
you are qualified to contest for election the next day. This is the single most potent strategy adopted by the APC, and it worked like a charm, because you see that most of the governors that won election on the platform of the APC were up till last December still in the PDP.
Like 18 of them, according
yes,
to what we
yes,
gathered.
I think 18 or 19 of them.
That lost out in the primaries of the
They
People's
lost out
Democratic
the
Party.
likes of Yotom,
Borno State.
Atiku Bagudu in Kebbi State. You know, there were so many of them. So if that amendment had not
even
been
lawmakers, when you like Barnabas, Gamadi and co.
I'm more concerned about the governors because they have the powers that lawmakers don't have. They have the ability to win elections. You know, so you see, look at Plateau, for example. If this had not happened, there is no way that the APC will have won in a largely PDP state like Plateau. So I'm saying that that singular move was what ensured, and the fact that, well, Nigerians wanted change. But even when we say Nigerians wanted change, that was a close election, 48% to 52%. You cannot say that it was a landslide.
No,
so
at all. Far from it.
The move of the party leaders to insert that clause into their constitution was the clincher.
Thank you so much, Jide. Boyega, what was the clincher for you?
Well, I think first and foremost, the All Progressives Congress were very serious at that time. Going forward, I can't say anything about that. Pre-election, they were very, very serious. I remember.
You're not sure? Maybe they're still serious now.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for making that point.
That's what it can be very stubborn.
It's like I'm very stubborn. Yeah,
I know where you are going.
Yeah, okay. with my views. At that point, you would agree with me as a reporter that the only thing, the one most important, thing for APC was to win that election. Their eyes were on the ball, and they were ready to give anything to win that election.
Including propaganda.
They were ready.
Elijah Mohammed was very effective.
To give anything to win that election. And incidentally, they did. They gave many things. You will recall that the 18 people, the NPDP, coming to APC wasn't an easy thing for the existing APC members. I can tell you about some states. Kwara State, for instance. Belgore.
People like Belgore had to go back to PDP
they
because they couldn't
so violently because they couldn't. And I know what.
I think Bafarawa too.
And I know what the leadership of APC told Belgore at that time. I was privy to that meeting. That it was even walked out of the meeting. That do you think you can win election? That what's important to us is winning election. It's not about sentiment. Let us win the election first. After we all sit down as members of the same family, then we'll begin to say,
okay, share the spoils.
Then we
all right.
For me, the clincher is seriousness on the part of the APC at that time.
Lekon, what was the game changer?
Well, there was a series of fumbling from the government itself.
From the
PDP. Yes, so they gave every reason, excuse for their ouster. And then this, for me, was a negotiated event outcome. 4 or 5.5 legacy parties came together, negotiated, sat down, and discussed among themselves. And this is the way to go. And they went that way. And I keep saying, JDJ just took a word out of my mouth. Lai Mohammed was the #1 weapon of the APC.
Weapon of mass destruction.
It was a #1 weapon, and it was an effective weapon. At the point, I said that
PDP came out with Fani Kayode to neutralize.
No,
that wasn't.
Fani Kayode does not have the credibility that
it didn't work.
Do you understand? Fani Kayode has not been taken to EFCC. I mean,
I never had.
Do you understand?
Never had.
So he doesn't have
any baggage.
No. So he has to deal with his
own baggage. He has believability.
So they are not on the same platform.
Even not only on the corruption. Not only on the corruption, for Fani Kayode, if once he said something, there were about 4 things that people like you and me will say to Fani Kayode. If he says this, you can say, oh, remember your days in Ghana. Of course, you and I know what that means.
So
there were so many things.
Everybody has a past.
So many things.
Everybody has a past.
That will make people not believe him.
Live out.
No, we're talking about
his past.
Believability.
Live out his past.
Let's take the discussion down. Tony Waje, you want to tell us something about that? Before the election, how did the People's Democratic Party, how did the All Progressive Congress, how did they win the election before for the first time?
Yeah, just like Jenny said, I think it's going. They were all out. They came out prepared for the election, and they were looking at that ball only. And it showed at the end of the day, they were ready to give in anything to get that election right, and they did. You mentioned Lai Mohammed. Lai Mohammed was ready. Anytime you give him a call, he will pick it. Even if it's 2 a.m., 3, 4, 5. That's a spokesperson for the APC. And APC knows his value. And he was ready to deploy. He never failed. But please, what I will tell him at this point is that now it's a government in power and not an opposition party.
Thank you for chipping that in. Tony Waje, thank you for chipping that in. Your perspective on this.
First of all, let me say that I think what really did it for the APC was that the whole country was tired of the PDP. And then you also saw a PDP that touted itself as the biggest party in Africa. And then they also relied so much on the issue of the power of incumbency, which is always they always deploy that tool to perpetuate themselves in office. So you always see that even in Africa, it is very difficult to defeat incumbency. So they thought because they had this one that nobody could ever do that. And especially as somebody prophesied politically, they were going to be in power for 60 years. Yeah, for somebody said that we misread him, he actually said 16. So I think that actually helped. And then again, I think one of that tool that we must not forget was the part of the social media. Also worked positively for APC. That's the way I see it.
Any of our the audience to contribute to how the rise and the fall of the People's Democratic Party?
Yes, let me quickly say this. I think the Ashwadi factor is a factor that we should not just look away from like that. It's a single person in that party that determined a lot of victories for the party. Then the branding of Muhammadu Buhari, before the election, I think Mr. President had some issues with his image. You remember at some point in time, the picture emerged on social media where Muhammadu Buhari was putting on a suit. That's a real picture, and it really worked wonders for the party. Then again, like in the game of wrestling, when you are fighting an opponent and you discover that opponent has an injury on a part of his body, you focus on that part of the body and you hit him on that. The PDP had a crisis within, and APC festered on that. They look at the enemies of Mr. President, like the former governor of Rivers State, and brought him over to their camp. They became enfant terrible for the PDP, and that did it for the APC.
Brilliant one from Obade there. Any of our audience?
I would love to add that apart from the masterstroke that came from the man himself, I also want to particularly identify the vice presidential factor. The PDP was waiting for the APC to make that mistake and then pick King, Professor Oshibajo, just did it. He solved a lot of problems. He cut out a huge chunk of the RCCG and a lot of other churches in the Southwest. Millions of votes. He's a native of Ikene, married to the granddaughter of Awolowo, professor of law, everything tight, perfect. It was just beautiful. And then, very importantly too, the Buhari branding, if I can use it that way, was particularly from Amici. It was the one that, you know, turned around Baba that was near permanently in Agbada and Cab. You know, started branding suits and, you know, all these beautiful pictures and all Igbo attire, chieftaincy titles and new stuff like that. And then before you know it, he has swept the whole country.
You didn't give us your name.
Important. My name is Ismail Amonsu.
Round of applause for
nice one.
Moving on now. Moving on now, Boyga. We can't afford to dwell more. The election was won and lost eventually. And it got to another stage. It's as if the All Progressive Congress weren't ready, you know, for governance. When they started out, it was as if the aim and objective of all these strange bedfellows coming together was just get Goodluck Jonathan out of the way. Get Goodluck Jonathan out of the way. The National Assembly crisis, the formation of the cabinet. Jide.
Yeah, I've been really disappointed about the way things have gone. I believe that this government should have sorted a lot of things out earlier than now. Look at how long it took for the president to put a cabinet list together. And Nigerians were saying, oh, he's trying to pick
almost 130 days.
He's trying to pick the best. But invariably, when the list came out, they turned out to be familiar faces. So what was
somebody said he would have mentioned that he would have given us that list on the 30th of May, a day after swearing in.
Yes, that is
that
the
if it was going to be Rotimi Amechi, Babatunde Fashola, Audu Ogbe,
and all of those people, all of those supporters of his at CPC that eventually found their way to that list. So these are people that he had known, Obaka Malami. These are people that he had known for years. Adisirika, all of them. He had known these people. You know, he had known them for long. So why did it take so long? Now, when some people want to poke fun at some of us supporters of the president, they say that, okay, the president was told to hit the ground running. But the president hit the ground and sat there. You know? So, because things are really, things are generally slow. The fuel scarcity is taking so long, you can't solve the problem. So people want to see a government that is focused, that will solve problems quickly. I know that it's not easy, but a lot of our people are becoming really impatient.
Okay, remember, let me first take. Let's take our first intervention for today. First caller in the year, Sani. This is a lucky one. Sani is calling from Niger State. Thank you for Sani for keeping faith with journalists. Hangout. Hello, Sani.
Hello. Hello. How are we?
Very well, thank you, Sani.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Thank you very much for what you are doing. Yeah. What I am thinking is, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo has played a very good role.
Okay, that's another factor.
Connect every reasonable Nigerian and international people to see that Nigeria has free and fair, credible election, and he achieved that.
Thank you, Sani. 60 seconds for our callers. 60 seconds, just make your contribution, and we'll forge ahead. Formation of his cabinet, Boyga.
Well, I wouldn't want to fault Mr. President for delaying. Well, I'm one of those who believe that, you know, it needed time. Don't forget that.
How many months did you want him to take?
Well, for as long as the president felt it was necessary.
Right.
And
Would have taken 4 years.
Don't forget that the Constitution is actually silent on this.
No.
So
laws are made for human beings.
So, well, you know, Tony, we
are not going to be slaves to our own laws.
Well, it doesn't
so
matter.
if you don't need 1 million years to set up a cabinet, if you need just 2 days to set up a cabinet, why not do that?
Okay.
Does it happen in other countries?
To give me a lie, Mohammed, it has to take.
So you
also need to balance it with what the president said, that he made so much wrath. you know, and that handover, the handover note. And that was where I began to
handover had nothing to do with picking ministers, my brother. It had nothing to do with picking ministers.
Now, he said the handover was, you know, given to him like the day before. And he needed to understand, you know, not the ministries. He wanted to understand the ministries. He wanted to see the running of the ministry. By the time he appoints his ministers, he won't come back to him and start, you know, telling him stories. So that one is just, I think the most important thing for me is that we have a functional cabinet.
All right, Lekon.
Not how long it took the president.
Lekon, your intervention on this quickly.
My intervention. Well, I hope nobody will accuse me of being the president's spokesperson. So my approach is this, that like I said, 4.5 legacy passages came together. That is 4.5 different tendencies coming together, merging, and then J.S. Tucker said that he was in politics for service and for gain. A lot of our politicians are certainly in government, in politics for service and for gain. And I think it's more weighted around gain than of service. So, and you see what happened in the National Assembly. The party dictated a direction, and people went a different way.
Yes, because we're still coming to that.
Exactly. So that, I think, was one of the issues that affected Mr. President. And then he said something. He said he wanted to, I will explain myself. He said that he wanted to sort of, would you say, streamline the government, so that he will know the ministries that he needed, the jobs that he wanted to emphasize, and then he will now look for the men who fit into that.
Okay, let me
that's my understanding.
I have Buhari from Niger State. A round of applause for our viewers from Niger State. In the last 3 months, we have average of 4 or 5 calls from Niger State every day. Thank you for joining us, Buhari. Happy New Year.
Good evening.
Happy New Year. Good evening.
You have 60 seconds, Buhari.
Yeah, it's Buhari on the line.
Yes, Obade is keeping the time for you.
I can only talk about this change of a team.
Go ahead.
So the change, the change came between the PDP and APC. They work hand to hand, and that's what brought all
we are
about
having problem. Buhari, please try and call back. We're having problem with that audio. Intervention, the composition of Mr. President and Minister from the gallery. Okay.
He has a microphone.
Okay, I would like to agree with Lekon a little bit and disagree with Jide. My name is Adidayo. I'm not too sure he's looking for the ministers. He knew the ministers even before he was sworn in. But I think the major reason the delay was that long was because of he was trying to streamline the ministries from 42 to 24. So it's not something he could have done within a space of 2-3 months.
That also affected the SFG and the chief of staff?
No, see. We are talking about the cabinet.
Yes.
Okay, those were
his kitchen cabinet.
Even pick his kitchen cabinet was what?
The kitchen cabinets.
The chief of staff, the secretary to the government of
the man said he came into a system where there is no money to even fund those people. Do you know how much he saved within those period that he has no kitchen cabinet?
That's it.
How much?
He saved a lot of money.
Do you know how much he saved?
How many months?
He saved a lot of money.
I mean, I don't know, but we can guess how much he saved.
Moving on,
right?
Moving on now. The National Assembly. You know, immediately the 7th Assembly, the 8th Assembly was inaugurated. Abubakar Bukola Saraki usurped his party and he became the Senate President. Jide.
I mean, that was a coup.
Well,
they asked me to take a call from Messi. Messi is calling from Niger State. Nasir from Niger State.
Nasir.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, you're on, Nasir. Network. A round of applause again from our people from Niger State. Very interesting, very interesting. We have a lot of followers from Niger State. Jide?
Yeah, I think the leadership of the APC actually created the situation that allowed an unworthy person like ABS, Abubakar Bukola Saraki, to emerge as the Senate President. I call him unworthy because I know him very well. I have information about him that others don't have. Now, you recall that on this program, we advised the APC to move fast. We advised them to decide on how they were going to pick the principal officers of the National Assembly. If you are going to resort to zoning, let's know which position you are zoning to certain geopolitical zones. They continue to delay. And the former governor of Kano State recall that this was the same mistake that they made, that the PDP made, that allowed Tambuwal to emerge. Because when people start spending money, they are going around the country. Of course, Bukola Saraki later told us that it was the Sultan of Sokoto that sanctioned his emergence. So when people have spent so much money, spent dollars, bribing people, then you now come and tell them that, no, we don't want you, someone else that you want. Of course, they will turn against their party.
Party supremacy.
You know? So they wasted so much time. Buhari didn't really show his hand. He wanted to sit back and behave like a statesman who has no interest in what is happening. But now...
Let me quickly take Dele. Dele is calling from Lagos.
I would like Happy New Year to gentlemen.
Happy New Year, Dele.
Yeah, thank you. Happy New Year to gentlemen on the press. I just want to contribute to what we are discussing.
Okay, go ahead.
It is true that Nigerians were somehow disappointed on the delay in the appointment of the cabinet. But because it's the party that we all wanted, I will not be so disappointed if, one, policy of the ministry headed by these people that we already know is so clear on job creation because it's one of the mandates. The budget is clear that jobs will be created in the education sector. Other sectors also need that. We want that.
60 seconds, Dele. You have to wrap up 60 seconds. My callers for today, you just have 60 seconds to make your point.
Public need more education. Policy on job creation should cut across the ministries and so on. Thank you.
I want to thank you so much, Dele, for contributing on the program. Boyega, the dynamics of the National Assembly politics.
I knew Bukola Saraki was going to, his school was going to succeed. I just do not, because we are on TV, I can't use the kind of words that I have for APC leadership. But for lack of the ability to use that word, I will say the
problem is still on till now.
I'll say I know. I'll say they played into the hands of a coupist in the person of Bukola Saraki. It was a serious political coup d'etat.
Yeah.
And they played into his hands because they allowed it. We knew, everybody who is a political watcher knew that Bukola wanted to become president of the Senate.
Even before the end of the last dispensation.
This is not
spelled out.
When you have a man who has a deep-seated interest in something, you don't joke with such a man. And this is politics we're talking about. Politics, I don't have to be your friend. The most important thing for me is to sit where you are sitting. Later we can discuss. And once you know that in politics, and all of you are politicians, however, I'll put the blame at the doorsteps of Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari. President Buhari allowed that coup to happen. How? Buhari shouldn't have sent a message to the clerk of the house that if you do not see me at so time, please go ahead. Because the man was like, look, I'm acting on this. Forget the fact that the Sarakis or the Sarakites,
that will not have stopped Saraki.
No, forget the fact that they had slept over.
Yeah, that would not even have affected the outcome.
The clincher was his alliance with the People's Democratic Party.
Yeah, we
getting
know that.
49
but
senators.
They knew that all along.
If all of them, look, even if that meeting, even if Buhari attended that meeting,
yeah,
Saraki already had the number.
Head or tail?
Yes, to win the election.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That they knew.
When people say that, some people stayed away. Even if they didn't stay away,
with PDP.
Saraki will still have won. Because he had finished the game.
Because of the alliance with the
Don't forget that the
Party.
president said vice president to him. He called him a mere commissioner.
So he said that did not happen. They denied it.
No. Naturally, he would deny it, but he said it. He said,
it
was a mere commissioner. Now, he also denied me. I received a message that there will be a meeting, by stakeholders, of PDP. I'm talking about, I received that message on my phone as a pressman. Saraki said he did not receive that message.
All
so
right.
That's the character of a man.
Let's take it to the
Maybe
audience.
they listen to him.
Audience.
Yes, of course. I will have to react to what really happened on the floor of the National Assembly.
9th of June 2015.
Exactly. I want to see the lapse from the the leadership of the All Progressive Congress actually caused it. If you recall very well, they have internal wrangling, in their midst already, and it all boils down to what we are saying. They put in all, a lot of things and other. They were not even, sufficiently prepared for governance. Yes. It was just like a gamble. And let's see what happened. Right. And it happened. Wow, it has happened. What are we going to do? And you now after happening, nothing else. And they have already made a lot of promises. And we said something about giving him, throwing in everything just for them to clinch the coveted seats. You remember they promised a lot of jobs to the youths, and we have millions of army of youth on the social media and all those things. And those are things they want to,
All right, the next lesson.
Unfortunately, they have opened up the space, and those youths are holding them to here. Now, there's no how they can denounce those manifestos and promises they have made to those youths.
I think they are working towards it.
It's in the budget. They are working towards that one.
Tremizi Abdullah. My own view as per the happenings on the National Assembly floor is like just saying, your friend is not bringing you a food and your enemy is offering you one. You have to take it. That's what Saraki had played there. He had seen it as if when the APC are not fully in support, he had seen it clear the APC are not fully in support. He had to run
to the enemies,
back to his enemy. And back to his vomit, and
he
got
something 100%
from
support.
And he had gotten the 100% support from them.
So,
and the second
thing, imagine it's just 10 votes
APC at the national level not really ready for the federal post. They are only conversant with the state activity. Most especially Southwest. It was just a gamble. So the way it has happened is just like a shock to them. And they just had to take the shock, not knowing.
Moving forward now. Thank you so much. Moving forward now, House of Rep. The leadership of the House of the All Progressive Congress wanted Femi Gbajabiamila, and even a shadow, did they call it a shadow election, was held before that particular main election. Femi Gbajabiamila lost with 8 votes. Out of 360 representatives. I think it had like a bandwagon effect or a backlash of what happened earlier on the 9th of June 2015.
It still boils down to what happened, the strategic mistake that the APC leadership made. You see, I interact with lawmakers from northern Nigeria, a lot of them. And what they were telling me was, look, if the president had come out
to put his feet down,
even if his body language supported a particular candidate,
Olusegun Obasanjo style,
they would have killed behind, because
Buhari
is a popular leader. And he had just won an election, and the people were still members of his party were still massively behind him. So if it had been clear that the party wanted this person,
the visual of that election,
or wanted this particular zone to produce the speaker, and the president clearly went with his party, there was no way this fellow from Bauchi State will have emerged because it was just an opportunistic moment for him. That, look, Saraki, if it happened in the Senate, why not in the House of Reps? And then the APC leadership made another tactical blunder by appointing Tambuwal, who earlier on had endorsed Dogara, who was who was the chairman of a House Committee on Services. He had endorsed him. You now took the same Tambuwal and said he should go and mediate in the crisis. So Tambuwal refused.
Party.
Yes, Tambuwal refused to mediate in any crisis.
We have Ibrahim from Niger State again. Hello, Ibrahim.
Hello, sir.
Happy New Year, Ibrahim. Thank you for joining us.
Happy New Year to you all. Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead with your contribution, Ibrahim.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you all.
Thank you, Ibrahim.
Sir, I'm surprised at Jide today. Why is Jide playing two sides of the coin?
Well, it's my opinion now. See,
Nobody should not play over his pastor.
Ibrahim, see, some of us don't support people permanently. If you go wrong, I will go against you. That is the thing. Let me tell you, the government is in power now. We have an obligation to encourage them to do the right things. My loyalty is to the Nigerian people. That is the thing. And when I come on the program, I don't come here to espouse the opinions of members of my family. It is my own opinion, just mine. That is it.
Let's allow Ibrahim. All right.
Yes, I'm satisfied. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Lekon, you want to contribute to this?
Well,
when they got it wrong, the House of Rep.
Well, I have a different take on this.
Okay.
Somebody said that in politics, you have permanent interests.
Sure.
You don't have permanent friends. You don't have permanent enemies. Listen, somebody just observed earlier on that some people would not have been governors if they didn't join APC. We just said it just now. People, by their calculations, they saw that it is better for us to go into this other
alliance.
You understand? You remember how Ogbe said, some of us in this APC still have their PDP blood or something. I forgot the exact word, or something in them. So they came, they saw a vehicle through which they could achieve what they wanted. And then the party now wants to stand against that. Then they went on that. I guess the Senate President said he went, I didn't endorse him. I actually wrote about 2 or 3 articles on him, and somebody had to call me and say, please, can we stop this? And I said, well, okay, let's see what happens. Just behave yourself from now on. You understand? I got a call from the office of the Senate President. Now, what I'm trying to say is that, but regardless of that, you still need to recognize that people have their ambition. There's nothing wrong with people having personal ambitions. However, you will have party discipline. Do you understand? That's one area that I have issues with. That why can't we just have a party that has one voice on issues? All these things, even in America, when you say democracy, listen, America is not even a democracy.
Okay.
Only 100 people pick the president.
I like to recognize one of our guests. He came all the way from Kogi State to attend the independent first event today. I wanted to say something.
But it's a privilege being here. The discussion has been. It's a privilege being here. The discussions have been very, very wonderful and educating. I'm waiting for the time to actually speak on the issues that concern Kogi State. But from what I've heard and seen so far, I'm impressed. Well done.
Thank you. We came all the way from Kogi State because of this live recording. We are going to take this break. When we return, we'll talk more. Please don't go away. It's still list. Hangout. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Journalist Hangout, and this is the first edition for the year 2016. Saraki now went on trial as a way for the All Progressive Congress, maybe some people said as a way to whip him into line, Boyega, that they had to go and, exhume some of his past actions.
Well, Yoruba people, I'm a Yoruba man, so never mind, I say Yoruba people.
From Ilorin.
I'm from Kwara State. Yeah, so you can. I should be supporting Saraki anyway.
Why? Why would you
ethnic politics?
No.
All right. Anyway, Yoruba people have a saying that when you have a bird, perching on a rope, the rope and the bird will not be at ease. I got into my office a bit late that morning, about 9:15. I was actually rushing, with traffic and all that. As soon as I, mounted the, staircase, they were already at the National Assembly. By the time I entered the reception, my colleagues, the reporters, were just telling me that, "Sir, Saraki is this, president of the Senate." I was dumbfounded. I said, when did the election take place? Anyway, I was watching TV. I said, put it on TVC, put it on TVC. So I was listening to the commentaries. So I relied on commentaries and all that, how the thing happened and everything. My first comment on social media, and it's still there, I said, well, I may want to congratulate the president of the Senate, but he should know that he cannot afford 2 hours straight sleep from this moment. Until we see the end of this matter. I do not know how we will see the end of the matter, but I know that something will give way to something. And if you look at it, nothing may happen to him in the end. They may drag it on, one motion against another.
Is that your wish?
Well, it's not my wish. My wish is for us to have justice.
To get to the root of it.
Seriously. Because you and I know, just like you, you have a lot of information. We share information outside of after the camera, outside of the camera. We know some of the allegations against this man at the code of conduct. He cannot defend them. He cannot, and that's the truth. How else can someone, when Asiwaju Tinubu was, he wasn't even summoned. They didn't even serve him. He was not even in Nigeria.
The bureau.
He was not even in Nigeria. A lot of people don't know. They say, after all, Tinubu also was there.
Okay, let me take Abdul Rashid from Bauchi State.
He came from the UK.
Abdul Rashid, thank you for joining us. Happy New Year.
Okay, thank you. I wish you the same.
All right, go ahead with your contribution, Rashid.
I wish you the same.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I want to contribute to what your colleague is saying.
Please do.
About how they contribute to Buhari's victory. So what they did is, Fashola, sorry to say this, former governor, Bola Tinubu, and Amechi, and this former governor of Kano State, they made a lot of contributions to the victory of Buhari. So we hope that all we are hoping is that for better governance. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I need to make this point. Why is Saraki's legal team looking for ways for Saraki not to answer questions at the CCB?
They are still. I think it's still part of their right.
No, I know.
They want to exhaust it.
You have your child who has done something wrong. Come, explain to me why you did this, and it begins to look for ways to avoid you asking.
I think they're still doing their work, Jide.
Oh, that's not to do their work. They should let him face the trial. If he's clean, the CCB, the tribunal, CCT will let him go. But what they are doing now is to humiliate the judge. Contriving all kinds of allegations because they can see clearly that that man is stubborn, is focused on having that trial proceed at a reasonable pace. So they are scared of the man. They are scared to their pants about that man, and they want to ensure that that trial does not take place. But as the Lord liveth, the blood of Societe Generale customers, some of who committed suicide, when that bank went under. How did the bank go under?
So many
Bukola
atrocities.
Saraki and other directors used depositors' funds to buy shares for themselves. And when they bought shares for themselves, they bought houses in Lekki and other places.
Even the one at Rockstein was not.
Hold on. Magu is the new EFCC chairman. Investigated the matter, and he told them. He said they should explain how they got the funds with which they acquired those houses, and they claimed that they sold their buildings in the UK. EFCC dispatched people to the UK and discovered that the addresses that they provided were non-existent. So the news magazine that I edited did cover stories about this. We had tons and tons of material on this man.
From the audience. Your name?
Mr. Ayo. Ajani Tunde is my name.
Okay.
In respect of Bukola Saraki's matter, may I believe that our judiciary has a lot of things to do in that case. But most importantly, we must not forget the fact that Bukola Saraki, who they used to describe as the backstabber from Kwara.
Yes, that's how I describe him.
Yes, but the fact still remains that this man seems to be in the good books of the presidency right now. Because when you look at the bills that have been swiftly passed in the Senate, you come to realize that will this case see the light of the day? But I believe, as Jide has said, definitely the blood of those people whose money
that Obade, pass the mic to Obade.
I have a contrary opinion.
All right.
This. First, we must not mix it up. CCT matter is a different case. His emergence as the Senate President is another case entirely.
Okay.
Yorubas, they say
we are talking about this trial.
We are on the trial.
We don't want you around, and you are still coming here to teach us how to sing. We will not sing with you. The first instance, Saraki is eminently qualified to be the Senate President. No doubt about that.
Just like me.
No doubt about it. You are not qualified to be the Senate President. He's a ranking senator. Saraki was a ranking senator at that point in time. You take it or you leave it. Saraki was a ranking senator. If you don't like him, it's a different thing. If you like him, it's another thing entirely. But if you are looking at this issue without attaching any sentiment to it, Saraki was eminently qualified to be the Senate President at that point in time. It is not his fault.
Oba, we have moved on. Hold on, Oba. We've moved on.
The APC leadership.
Oba, can you hold on a little bit? We've moved on from the emergence. We are talking about the trial.
That's my point.
That's where we are.
I'm saying this is my first time of speaking on this matter. That's why I'm trying to react on that.
The trial is political?
I'm not saying that. But the trial is something we look separately. We are looking at the trial not because of the issues raised at the CCT are not the issues that occurred while he became the Senate President. There are issues that were carried over from his time as the governor and what have you. So at that point in time, he was eminently qualified. It's not his fault. It's the APC. APC has himself to be blamed, not Saraki in this instance. Thank you.
Charles,
let me ask a question.
Okay.
Just to toe the line of, although slightly different. If Saraki had not emerged as the Senate President, would he have been prosecuted? That's number one question.
Nobody knows.
There's no way the satellite would have been blamed on him. I believe that his emergence didn't go down with a lot of people. So they felt, well, you came here to come and usurp power that didn't belong to you. You must go into the gallows. That's what I saw about that.
Yeah.
Then what I also believe, I mean,
that's why in this world we must be clean.
Yeah, exactly. Good. Because your past is
your
always
past will haunt you.
Very, very
always
important.
Yes.
Good. But what I'm also saying, but I fear, I think Oba and I, we expressed this even while we went on break. My fear is this. We were hoping, a lot of people were hoping, especially in the media, that if Saraki can be docked, good for governors. If he is jailed, it will serve as a deterrent. But the question is that all the signs we're seeing now, are there signs that portend that Saraki is likely to be jailed? If
we don't
not,
know.
then
we don't know.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Charles, for that contribution. Let me take a call from Aminu. Aminu is calling us from Jigawa State. Happy New Year, Aminu.
Thank you very much.
All right, go ahead with your contribution.
Happy New Year to you all.
Thank you, Aminu.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine.
I'm calling to say Happy New Year to all of you.
Thanks.
Babajide,
Yeah, Jiga.
Obadioye, and God.
I mean, you have 1 minute to do that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, Aminu is keeping it short. A round of applause for Aminu.
Tony has the microphone.
Tony, quickly, just your take on this.
Yeah, please, let me start from where they stopped. Saraki is the Senate president today.
Yeah.
Just as Charles said, if Saraki was not the Senate president, would Saraki would have CCT look in his direction? No. Judy and I have
That's your
on
opinion.
set.
It's an hypothetical question.
No, hold on.
It's an
Hold
hypothetical
on.
question.
I'm coming to that. The issue is this. He is the Senate president, and we know where this CCT, the offenses he committed came from. Not even, that was when he was a governor.
No, it
if
doesn't
you
matter.
check out the governors today,
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. See, on this program,
and 20 years ago.
hold on this program. No, but I have a right to interject. On this program.
It's my opinion. It's my
No,
opinion.
But I can talk. I can talk about what you are saying.
Okay, Julian, let's allow Tony to make his view. I'll come back to you.
Okay, make your view.
What I'm trying to say is this. The APC made. We know what happened. There are some people who were picked, and it went contrary to the expectation of some people in the party, not even the party itself. Not even the party itself. And he emerged as the Senate president. And then this trial came up suddenly. We witnessed this. Nobody's going to tell me that. I know what happened. And then this trial came up. And then we started hearing things like party supremacy. And then when it happened to Kogi State, Faleke, party supremacy, nobody's talking about party supremacy. So
all right.
They are still talking about party supremacy.
All right. Okay, Jide.
The reality is, see, we are students of history. Whether you studied it in the university or not, you have to be a student of history. Because that is how you can even correctly analyze issues. The party agreed at one point that yes, Saraki, they accepted him. If you remember, they accepted him that yes, you are the Senate president. But they said, moving on, how about these principal officers? What did he do? What did he do? They said, so say, no, because I needed to buttress that point. Because to just say that, okay, they didn't want him to emerge. After he emerged, they allowed things to move on. And they said, okay, since we have lost this battle, because he won the election fair and square. He won the election. And if now the party said, principal officers, why don't you make these people principal officers? He refused to read the letter of the national chairman on the floor of the Senate. Look at what his sidekick in the House of Reps did. That one chose to respect his party.
Seriously.
They gave him a list of, they knew that they lost the battle, but they gave him a list of principal officers, which he honored. After that, who was the first to meet the president between Saraki and Dogara? Who was Dogara now?
Let's take let's take a call from Kano. Sanusi is calling us from Kano State. Oh, we lost Sanusi. Lekon, your intervention on this.
My intervention on this. Well, like I said, I think that we need to look at this matter that Tony just said about party supremacy. Order is the first law in heaven, so it has to be also on earth. Otherwise, there will be confusion. I was saying earlier on that even in older democracies, they have allocations of offices agreed before. After all, in 1964, when the Conservative Party was to now look for a prime minister, they looked for there was nobody in the House of Commons. They had to go to the House of Lords, and the law does not allow somebody from the House of Lords to become the prime minister. So they brought this one. They say, you will no longer.
So do a tie back, count all the days. He said 90 days. He was giving them 90 days. So the 90 days that the president gave, they actually expired in November. Now, because it was clear that the deadline had not been met, they changed the goalpost and said, no, it will be end of December. Now, end of December, it is clear that that we cannot defeat the enemy during that, within that time. So what needs to be done is for us to look at the strategy that we have deployed. Initially, when the president said, "Oh, I'm sending relocating the command and control of the Nigerian Army to Maiduguri," I said it on this program that it was a wrong move because you are dealing with an enemy that you cannot see, and then you are sending generals to that place. It will not work.
Let's take our favorite caller. Aliyu is calling from Niger State. A round of applause for Aliyu. He has been with us all through 2015.
This one is from
Aliyu from Kaduna State. No, okay.
The guy that buy generator because of TV.
The guy that bought generator because of TV.
Oh! Aliyu actually went to purchase a generator because of journalist Hangout. Thank you, Aliyu.
The big issue guy, Ayo, and the king himself, Babajide, and please, regard to that guy that has Ghanaian Nkrumah Bangkok.
Bangkok, Nkrumah. Oh. Moving on now. Obade is taking some tweets.
Sorry, yes, our followers have been tweeting online, and we have a couple of them here. At the handle at Shaibu Idowu, he said at TVC Connect, JH 2015 was a year of democratic emphasis and political turning point on the map of Nigerian history. Let 2016 bring out the light. At GS_Sami, he said Saraki is not the only one that have issues with CCT, but why is Saraki's case more pronounced? At Olubi 3, he said Saraki's trial, how many judges can form a quorum at CCT? That's a question. Maybe we want to react to that. Yeah, and who can act in charging him to court in the absence of an AGF? At Objective_Kel, he said today's ongoing journalist hangout is explosive, so much depth. He said, journalist hangout, if this is found to be true, then it's a shame on the old Senate president, quote unquote. What's the essence of swearing an oath of office? Then at G-Lock for Life, says, show me one politician in Nigeria that is clean from corruption in the past. None. The lead government should be focused. And let me take two more, then we'll come back later. It said it will serve APC best if they let Saraki be, because if they push him into defecting to the PDP, the Senate is gone. At GS_Sami again, APC should be very careful in handling this Saraki issue because it is more of a political.
Okay, we have a caller from Bauchi State. Bulus is calling from Bauchi State. Happy New Year, Bulus.
Happy New Year to you all.
Thank you, Bulus.
I think I want to contribute to the issue of that Senate president. Senate president, I don't think it is the only person that has not declared his assets. There are so many people that have not done that. But why is it that it's only the Senate president that was, being harassed or taken to CCT?
Okay, thank you, Bulus. Thank you for your contribution. Moving on. Yeah. Boko Haram, we are looking at terrorism.
I'm not disagreeing with Jide per se, but I want to toe the path of the federal government, their argument on this.
You have 60 seconds to do that. Our time is fast spent.
Okay,
except
on the defeat of Boko Haram. So seriously speaking, and I was discussing with someone on Christmas Day, and I told the person, I said, there is no news today. There are usually newsrooms are usually dry on
Christmas Day.
On Christmas days
on
like
Christmas
this.
Day.
No, that new. Hold on.
No, just so that I will tell you what happened.
No, I will tell you what happened.
Christmas Day for me.
There was
a village.
Hold on. In the morning, I said in the morning I was talking to my wife. I said newsrooms are usually dry on Christmas Day. No sooner had I said that.
Okay, that's where you are.
We heard of the bomb blast. So seriously, if you look at Boko Haram, I think they've been largely defeated.
Largely. According to Lai Mohammed.
Seriously, they've been largely defeated.
Okay, Chidi is calling us from Southeast Nigeria, Abia State. Thank you, Chidi, for joining us.
Hello, Chidi.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead with your contribution.
But I'm not.
Okay.
Move. Good evening.
Good evening. It's still on.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, go ahead, Chidi.
Okay. I'm trying to contribute concerning Saraki issue.
Go ahead.
You know, the way you men in studio are taking it.
All right, moving on now. Kogi election, Lekon. Kogi election, that a lot of people, you know, that happened. What happened? The death of Abubakar Audu was like another dimension to something that has never happened before in history in Nigeria. And according to the lawyers, they say there's a constitutional lacuna that we can't, you know. So why Faleke is laying claim to that seat, Idris Wada is saying that, look, I'm the person with the highest vote alive, and today we have a governor-elect, Yaya Bello, in Kogi State.
Well, there's a word called snafu. It means situation normal, all fumbled up. This is where we found ourselves. I think there's a constitutional issue on our hands, almost like when former president died and there was no provision to handle.
All our contributions now, 60 seconds, because we are pressed for time.
Yeah. Mr. Faleke was the running mate to the gentleman who died.
Yeah.
I would have thought that he is a co-inheritor of the votes.
Sure.
Do you understand? But they now said, okay, he was not part of the primaries, and therefore somebody who came second should now inherit the vote of Audu and Faleke. I have issues with that. Sure. I have to be honest with you, I have not resolved that in my mind because it's not clear to me. Yes, and I think we need to look at what happened during the Jonathan time. There was an animal called doctrine of necessity. I think that's what we have to look for now.
Bamidele is calling us from Abuja. Thank you for joining us, Bamidele.
Hello.
Happy New Year, Bamidele.
Happy New Year.
Yes.
My wife has been a very, very lover of this journalist hangout. I believe she has.
Thank you, Bamidele.
To make sure that you get the power on because of your program.
Thank you.
And I would like to, because I'm a politician, I'm an active one in Abuja, assistant PRO from City Center.
Okay.
What I want you people to understand is that politics itself is about conflict and conflict resolution. There's more interest than what you people are saying because I'm part of it. So based on what is happening on Saraki issue, is an internal problem that we have to be solved. Thank you very much. Happy New Year once again.
Thank you, Bamidele. Thank you for your contribution. Our guest from Kogi State, I guess you want to contribute to this Kogi issue. What is your perspective on this?
Well, basically,
your name?
My name is Anthony Abrahams. Basically, if you come to Kogi State right now, you would see that Yaya Bello's flex are everywhere, thanking the populace already for electing him.
Did they elect him?
Well, that is what the flex says. Thank you
I think 6,000 people
for the election. That is one. Now, two, the sitting governor, like you rightly know, said he has the biggest vote and is the living candidate. So now, the third thing here is Faleke, who happens to be the running mate of a governorship candidate in an inconclusive election, is also laying claim to the seat. So if we look at it, it is a very, very dicey one.
How do you feel about this situation?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, a rerun election was done. Yaya Bello came out. Yaya Bello is the governor-elect.
So where are you from? Kogi State? Are you an indigen of Kogi State?
No, I'm not an indigen of Kogi State.
But you stay in Kogi State.
I
Where do you
stay
stay
in Kogi State. I stay in Kaba.
You stay in Kaba?
Yes.
Thank you. Any?
I would like to, disagree a bit. Just like what Lekon said earlier on, it still beat my imagination. I have been on a political beat for quite some time, and I'm a student of political history. Now, what happened in Kogi State, and the claim of the defeated PDP governor that is the only one, is the first among the living. I haven't heard that before. And they're looking at it again, talking about Yaya Bello, rolling out posters and flares and all that. It's all political gimmicks. At least he's trying to warm himself into the heart of people, because it's not possible for you to actually be enthroned with just 6,000. You don't inherit votes. Votes are not.
All right, thank you, Ellis.
They are not transparent.
You don't do that.
That's my issue.
Emeka is calling from Republic of Benin. Thank you for joining us, Emeka. Good evening, Emeka.
Thank you so much. God bless you. It comes with a price, have you?
Hello?
Hello.
Good evening. Happy New Year to you all.
Same to you, Emeka. Go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah.
60 seconds.
I just want to praise all of you for the good work you are doing. Keep it on. And Baba Jide is my man of the year.
Thank you.
Oh, Emeka is saying Baba Jide is his man of the year.
You are also my man of the year.
From the Republic of Benin all the way. Thank you. Thank you. Now,
don't move on now.
well, this Kogi, I just want us to dwell on it a little bit. All right, Tony.
Here, in one breath, praying for cohesion within the party discipline, for the party to come together. And in one breath, we are supporting the unjustifiable. From my own point of view, this is what I'm saying. The party has woken up and said, this is our direction. So what do we have to say about the party position and Falike's position? What's up?
Charles Idao.
I think I want to go along with Shorter, because first of all, what they're saying is this, that Falike cannot lay claim to that victory, but I disagree. Somebody said he didn't also participate in the primary. I also disagree, because by the constitution, you don't expect a deputy candidate, a deputy governor to also participate in the primary. But by default, once somebody emerges, by default, he is deemed to have participated in the primaries. So I do believe that APC has a better role to have, and a better part to have treaded. If they had allowed Falike to assume that position, that would have been the best thing to do.
Thank you, Charles.
Let me just say this.
We have a caller from Niger. Lekon, I'll come to you.
No problem.
Akim is calling from Niger State. Another person from Niger State. A round of applause for Akim.
Good evening. Happy New Year.
Same to you, Akim.
I want to thank Baba Jide. It's my right choice.
Thank you.
We are part and parcel of the people that Bukola Saraki every morning. When he was the managing director of what they don't call himself at the General Society Bank. People that I'm telling you in London. So not in Nigeria, I'm telling you in London. So we will not forgive him. He has to be removed from Senate President. Whatsoever it is, that is my own contribution.
Okay, that's Akim's opinion. Thank you, Akim, for that contribution. We're going to take a break now. When we come back, we talk more. Please don't go away. It's still the 1st of January 2016 edition of Journalist Hangout. Stay with us.